We're gonna do different ways of propagation. I'm gonna take some offsets, we're gonna take some single leaf cuttings. Oh, I broke something else off there. And then we'll see what happens. And I'm gonna do water and soil propagation. Hey you guys, my name is Sean and I'm a houseplant enthusiast from Jakarta, Indonesia. Today we're gonna be doing the Sansevieria. Now this is one of the cylindrica type Sansevieria that has a very cylindrical leaf. I've not done a Sansevieria like that in my channel before and I've been dying to do so. But basically this is my desert area, although you can see it's been taken over by colocasias, more colocasias. And this used to be a tropical area, so some of the corms have been stubbornly sprouting and I just decided to just leave them be because life finds a way. But back to our Sansevieria, the one you see immediately in front of you, I believe that's a silver Boncel. And there's another one here. This was one that I probably took from my dad's home. I don't know the name of it. Feel free to shout out in the comment section if you know the name for this one, but we're gonna cut this one up, although they look rather similar. Now, I'm a bit inspired to do this because of our episode at Arid and Aroid, so I'm gonna link that video up above. And he said that we could propagate them by single leaf cutting. And it is something that I've always known, but forgot all the time. So these guys are just marvelous in that they can be propagated, either as a rhizome, as a whole offset, or as a single leaf. So we're gonna try to do that with this one today. Now, really quickly about the care, they do prefer bright indirect light, although mine is living in full sun, believe it or not. It is usually cloudy here and there's a house behind me, but when it is the right time of the year, the sun is directly above us. And in some nurseries, I've seen them burn up, but in my case, they haven't done so. I did acclimatize them slowly. I had a bit of a shade going on here for the first year, meaning the shade will go up when it's full sun and then it will come down when it's like weather like today where it's cloudy. And I haven't done that in a while, so they haven't really burnt. And this one plant here has been grown from a single plant and it's now produced a lot of offset. And then I also see there are a lot of ants crawling around. That is not good news. So with Sansevierias, when you see ants crawling around them, it's probably a sign of scale or mealybugs. The mealybugs usually live in the root zone and then it's usually white color and fuzzy, and scale would usually be on the leaves and there will be these weird spots that look like fungal infection that will be impossible to remove. Now you could spray chemical pesticide, you could spray neem oil, you could also put slow release chemical pesticide on the soil if you're that kind of guy. I tend to do a combination of each because I find that if you do only one treatment, it will grow resistant to it. So this guy gets, I would say, partial direct sunlight. And this is living in Pasir Malang, which is just a volcanic rock in Indonesia that's very, very porous. It does get rained on every day. Now, not all of my cacti succulents survive here. Some have rotted off, but the Sansevieria has survived and has thrived in this condition. And based on that video that I did at Arid and Aroids, he mentioned that they actually respond well to heavy feeding. Are they heavy feeders in terms of?
Yes,
they are.
Yes, they are.
Ah.
That's why we do. We have foliar fertilizer, and we have the Ospocot or the Nutricot something.
Yeah. Good tip.
Yes, heavy feeder.
I see. Slow release fertilizer.
Yes.
We have started to fertilize it a bit heavier these days with slow release granular fertilizer, but I also tend to spray this entire area down with a balanced NPK ratio foliar spray. Now, Sansevierias are not, in my case, known for fungal infections, although I can imagine them not doing so well with fungal infections in Southeast Asia because it is very humid here and fungus might want to set up spores on plants like this that has no resistance towards them. This is not their natural habitat as they're largely from Africa. So without further ado, I'm just gonna cut this one up. I'm gonna take off, we're gonna do different ways of propagation. I'm gonna take some offsets, we're gonna take some single leaf cuttings, and then we'll see what happens. And I'm gonna do water and soil propagation. So stick around till the end to find out. All right, we're gonna get right to it. Normally I work on this on my propagation table, but I guess today we don't have that luxury. I believe these offsets might just be very easy to twist off. They actually grow underneath. Yeah, if I'm lucky, I will get some roots. So this is a very clear-cut propagation, I guess, very obvious. The roots are all there. I don't know if this is gonna focus. We might get a better view inside. And this is actually putting off, I think, another offshoot, possibly. And as I suspected, there are a little bit of mealybugs here. You see there's a bit of a white fuzz. And then what I want to do is I want to take one that is slightly more mature. I don't want to take the biggest one, but I want one that is big enough to take a finger off to propagate. This is very hard to get to, but I might opt to, let me see if I can break one off. I'm sorry, I can't reach. Ugh. Oh, I broke something else off there. I did not intend this to come off, but this one is coming right off clean, so I might actually just use this. Now, comment down below, because this is my first time doing it, is it better to cut this straight or if it's better to just leave it as it is? But I'm gonna try to leave it as it is. This one came right off just next to it, so I'm gonna take that. Sorry, that one was not what I was intending. And of course, they grow out in the middle. That's their growth point. One way that you can encourage more pups to grow is if you just like destroy this, you poke a stick or a knife through it, you kill the apical bud, that will produce a lot of pups on the side because it's gonna encourage this plant to start producing babies instead of investing all this energy to the latest leaf, which is gonna create a larger and larger plant. I mean, I could take some of these babies off, but I do want to see them spread and grow in here, so I'm just gonna leave that as it is. Let's meet you back inside. All right, so we're in my studio where typically a lot of these magic happen. So these are the 3 cuttings that I did. Again, I really do need someone to comment down below, because when I make the tear, there is a surface area here for wound and infection, but I also feel like if I make further cuts, they will also take away some of the genetic materials. I don't know where the meristem is more pronounced, which means the cells that's gonna divide and produce offsets. I don't know if it's gonna be around here or in the middle, but comment down below if you know, but I'm gonna just stick to this because this is what my instinct tells me to do. A lot of these things are instinctual, so let's just roll with it. Now with this one here, there's a cut here where I make the little tear. This is where I kind of tore off from the main plant and there's a bit of an open wound. I definitely want to dab this in a bit of activated charcoal. I use this for all my propagations. This is going to help seal any wound. It's going to prevent any funky bacteria or fungi from infecting the plant. It's just one of the practices. This one came right off, but I'm just gonna chuck this away. Now I want to put this in this pot because I do want to grow this maybe indoors in a bit of a lower light. I just thought it's just really whimsical in a pot like this, very sculptural. Actually, I really love succulents in like super cool pots. Admittedly, I don't have enough time to work on my succulents. I don't have a lot of growing area for them. A lot of my plants are actually tropical. I moved to Bangkok, that is definitely something that I would really love to look into because they really look quite something in pots like this. Now this is just my old cacti succulent potting mix. There's akadama, there's perlite, burnt rice hull, and a bit of worm casting, and a bit of pumice as well. Now I am going to give this a dose of slow release chemical pesticide because this has ants crawling all over. I might actually add some to the parent plant as well. It is grown in my little box thing, my box situation, so it's not connected to the earth. So I'm actually okay with adding chemical pesticide to the soil because it's not going to seep into the ground. But if you have plants on the ground, I definitely recommend a more natural means because you don't want to destroy your ecosystem. You don't want the rainwater to come down and into the ground and you know, there are animals living down there. We have to be mindful of that. So I'm just going to add a liberal amount of slow release fertilizer, and they look actually quite horrible. So I'm going to bury it in a little bit more of the potting media here. And for this one, again, I'm going to water this pretty much every other day probably. It depends on the light and everything that it's getting. It can live for a while in low light, it won't die, but they will do so much better when you give it bright light. It'll have such nice forms. So I still don't know what I'm gonna do with this one, but it is a very, very cute plant in this pot. And yeah, thinking I might even have it next to my work table for a few days. Yeah, there's that. Now for the other one, this is too much water. I'm gonna put one in the water like this, and then I'm gonna give it a bright indirect light location by the window. And then for these two, I'm gonna pot them right into potting media. I'm gonna put a little bit on the bottom, and then actually this broke off kind of like this. So I'm gonna put this in the same direction. So there's two now in one pot. I might actually put this outside because I have this in a terracotta pot in very, very porous potting mix. So this will get rained on every day. We are approaching rainy season, but then it will also dry off within, I don't know, my best guess is within a matter of hours at most. So you definitely don't want this to be soggy wet. This is why I opt not to use a plastic pot for this. And of course, a bit of pesticide in there as well. All right. So I've got these going, and I have a feeling this is going to be a very long update. And I'm actually moving to Thailand, so I don't know how much time we have to get this going, but I do hope that we can see some growth. My best prediction is maybe about 6 months, but we'll see. Welcome to a 7 weeks update, and actually it is Christmas Day today. Of course, when you're watching this, it's way past that. But I want to show you this cutting here. The reason why I'm showing you the entire clip is I wanted to show you how bright the situation is for this cutting. It does get very, very bright indirect light, and I would even dare say sometimes partially a bit of direct sunlight. Now let me find a place to set this down, and voila, look at that. How cute is this? This tiny leaf and all these roots have come out. This is incredibly cute. I have half a mind to pot this up now, but I am going to be doing a fair bit of traveling. I'm about to go to Bangkok for like 10 days. So I think I might do that when I come back because I don't want this to be mistreated while I'm away, as this is a delicate cutting, but it can do a few more weeks, 2 more weeks at least in water propagation. And one more tip is don't change the water often, because this plant is actually releasing hormone into this solution, a natural hormone that plants give out. And if you keep flushing out the hormone, the plant may not do so well. It may not root as well. So just keep that in mind. Sometimes when it's like really green like this, I think you can actually change out the water, but you wouldn't want to change it more than, I would say, twice, more than once every 2 weeks. Now this is the other cutting. It is actually shriveled up quite a bit. I have a feeling that this is actually a little bit underwatered. It's in a very chunky cacti potting mix and also terracotta pot, which means even if we drench this entire pot here, it will be dry within maybe 2 to 3 hours, especially outdoors in very good light. I don't know if you can feel, there's like breeze all over, the leaves are dancing. And of course, this is the sky here. So what I might actually do, let me see. Okay, the Tillandsia wants to come along, get away. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, I might move it in a place where it might get some direct sunlight, but not the whole time. Let me move some things around. So I'm filming with one hand, so it's not that easy. I'm gonna move this out of the way. And then, okay, I'm gonna snuck this right in there, in between all these plants. Okay, let it stand. So it is actually shaded by the Nepenthes above, but the good thing about it is, I need to water that Nepenthes. Every picture should have a bit of water in it. This one probably don't have enough water, but it's got a lot of ants in it. But anyways, this will get full rain. It is a rainy season now, so it will get full rain, and it's gonna be okay because I do want this leaf to plump up a bit. I'm guessing it can, I'm giving it a tug here. The roots have actually established in there. So there's enough roots to take in all that water. So this leaf should be plump and juicy in no time. Let's check on it in a few months' time. All right, so this is actually the mother plant in case you're curious. So don't worry when you take cuttings out of plants. For example, I think we took the leaf out of here. the plant is actually going to do just fine. It's going to do okay. I don't know if these babies were there before, but it's continuously growing out and out. And I actually did a bit of landscaping. So I took out some of the colocasias and things like that. They were creating a lot of distraction around here. So this is looking pretty fresh now. Welcome to an 8 weeks update. I'm excited to show you these cuttings. It actually took faster than I thought because I thought this propagation was going to take years in the making. Now this one here, I filmed it a few weeks or maybe a month ago, and I was very worried because the leaves like shriveled up quite a bit. And I guess that's what these lines, if you can see here, these grooves, they actually expanded in size and they contracted when they became skinny. So I have an assumption that for these plants, although this is probably a hybrid, these plants in nature, these lines will allow them to shrink and expand and shrink and expand in times of need and in times of abundance. And this new leaf, I don't know if it's new or not, but it just came out from the center. I have a feeling this is new. We will have to check the old footage to see if it was there before. But they do produce these fan-like leaves that push outwards, and that is just so beautiful. And as a test, you can see here that this plant has completely rooted into the pot, and somehow the roots probably adhered to the pot as well. So this is really doing well outdoors, and again, it's getting daily rain. It is the rainy season now, right in direct light, and it seems to be taking off quite well. The next cutting I want to show you is this. This is actually by a very sunny window, and I think I can take the silly goose out of the propagation vessel now. Voila, look at that. Not only has it put out roots, it's also put out 2 babies. I've got twinsies going on here. And I wanted to quickly show you it is growing out of the base of this leaf like that. And the other one you can see is growing out of the base of the leaf like this. It's often important to see where the babies come from when we make the cut. And this one is absolutely ready to be moved into soil. And usually for plants, how do we know? Is because they would put out a single root first, like the main root, and then as it branches out, you see all these little secondary roots branching out from the main root. The second branch is made for absorbing more nutrients and water, so this is ready. The main anchor root, as the name suggests, is made to anchor the plant down into soil. So when you have both roots present already, it is time to move it into soil. And last and not least, look at this cutting here. It's actually put out something out of this one cutting. I'm actually going to disturb it, and you probably shouldn't if you're a bit more patient, but you can see here, it's put out twinsy leaves out of this. And this one, let me pull it out. This one has put out one leaf. And I think this plant would benefit from being repotted straight up like this, so the babies can get a bit of air and a bit of light. But yeah, this is gonna give me a lot of new plants. So as you can see from here, Sansevierias are super easy to propagate and maybe not as timely as I thought. All right, and as usual, thank you so much for watching this all the way to the very end. I hope this gives you confidence to pick up the Sansevieria if you have not already, to propagate them if they ever become too mature, and if you want to have insurance lying around, or if you want to just gift them to your friends and family, or if you're a business trying to sell them so you can buy more interesting plants. For the rest of you, class is dismissed, but for some of you who might want to contribute financially to the channel, here's an opportunity to do so. You may join my Patreon at patreon.com/Sean from OnlyPlants, or you may join as a YouTube member. Simply open any of my video, and next to my channel name, you will see that join button. This is for as small as a cup of coffee, but it goes a long way in improving my life quality and the content quality as well. And for those of you who are supporting members, I want to say thank you, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!